Bitcoin realizes its destiny as, the ultimate form of collateral. That Bitcoin replaces them in the core architecture of finance.
So in this inflationary decade of deglobalization, what's the bullish and bearish case for Bitcoin?
Well, bearish would be that definancialization, which will also occur. Like it's always a push and pull between commodities and sort of financial assets, right? Mm-hmm. And financial assets have won the day for the last few decades. In the push and pull there, that commodities and commodity production, I think energy is like 4% of the S&P 500. It's virtually nothing. They continue to get more important, vitally important, and financial assets are kind of left in the dust.
Tech is like 30% of the S&P.
Right, yeah.
But contributes to like 2% of GDP and jobs, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very Cantillon-esque for sure. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny subset of society that, reaps all the benefits. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would say partly the bear case would be that, the market determines that the production of actual goods, physical commodities, energy, agriculture becomes much more important.
And that would be bearish for Bitcoin.
And the Bitcoin's kind of an afterthought in that, and sort of like, I guess part of that would be like, in theory, a lot of the liquidity that went into Bitcoin was just this excess from like the fiat system. I think we've already seen a lot of that withdrawn. Another bearish case would be if governments achieve, extraordinarily successful plans to realize monetary repression by imposing capital controls, and we get capital controls all over the West, and they become very adept at sort of stamping out these access points to Bitcoin. I think that'll be difficult, but that would be part of the bear case as well. And generally speaking, inflation is not good for financial assets. Certainly it's not good for fixed income, obviously, and it's not particularly good for equities either. Corporates, they sort of lose the ability to forecast the future, right? That's what inflation does. It sort of robs you of the ability to plan ahead because you don't know what your treasury or what your cash flow is going to be worth a year or two from now. And so the question is Bitcoin going to perform like a stock in a rising inflationary period, which would be badly? Or is it going to perform like gold did in the 70s in that inflationary period where it went from $35 an ounce to $630 an ounce in a year or two? And so that's sort of like the big question.
Well, so the bullish case, what do you think would prompt that?
The bullish case would be Bitcoin realizes its destiny as, the ultimate form of collateral and liability-free collateral in particular, right? So now we know that treasuries are liability full. They're impregnated with liability, which is to say that the issuer can just eliminate them and seize them from you at a moment's notice, even if they've been reliable for the last 50 years. So the bull case would be that Bitcoin replaces them in the core architecture of finance, that we have this full deglobalization, this fragmentation of currencies. As institutional trust is lost, as the U.S. retreats and it can't really backstop the value of the dollar with its formally expansionary objectives and all these institutions and controls, and that in that sort of anarchic setting, Bitcoin gains prominence as a credible, neutral settlement network and monetary medium, and that it would become a way to settle international trade and commodities. They may not be priced in Bitcoin, but those trades might be settled in Bitcoin. And then, in the bull case, you would say it'll have a more important role in corporate finance, but then also at the nation-state level, where it becomes this sort of unimpeachable asset that you would hold to back your currency, and then maybe in the longer term, Bitcoin might replace gold